So guys, we are here with Midnight Evil. Um, I chose this game specifically because you guys know my reading is not not its not its best. So I thought, what else to do than play a game that you have to read in. So let's just see how this goes. As the clock approached midnight, oh, I'm not ready for this. William Grinkle was fast asleep. Not us in bed. That's our bed. Okay. Tonight was different though. We woke to a strange sound coming from the attic. What is that painting? Bro, who just has that painting on the wall? I mean, hey. I guess it fits the house. As he climbed the stairs, he felt something. Oh, does it go by as it listens to me read? A chest? Is it just gonna wait? Oh, it doesn't. Okay, okay. Oh, the book. I think this is the book we're gonna read. Just an innocent book. Okay. Tonight his life would change forever. Nathan Sanders presents Midnight Evil. Oh. Oh, bro. This was a bad idea. There's a lot going on in this room. Oh my goodness. Like, like mad details in this room. A little nice room though. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Well, let's get to reading. Long before the first humans stood upright and took their place in the world, there was a beautiful land that was ruled by the many would come to call the Fae. It didn't work. Hold on. Let's try to move my mic just a bit closer, guys. I'll try to be less loud. Oh wait, let's do it this way. We're going to try this again. Since my mic is a lot closer now, I don't want it too close to my mouth. All right. Long before the first humans stood upright and took their place in the world, there was a beautiful land that was pulled by the many would come to call the Fae. What was that noise? Does that noise pop up like every time? Okay, hold on. I gotta chill out. All right, all right, all right. I'm getting stressed. Gotta relax. Okay. These ancient beings were worshipped by mankind, but they were also feared. Humans. Oh, that's a dot. Okay, I didn't even know. Humans were right to be afraid of for there were many different creatures that lived in the darkness, watching us waiting. Oh my goodness. Okay. Most were harmless enough, amusing themselves by causing mischief and playing pranks on humans that crossed their paths. I'm not doing too bad. Okay. However, some had more sinister intentions. The Urking, for example, had developed a liking for the taste of human children. These monsters are small, unnaturally fast, and impossible to kill. Oh, because there was a dot there. The dots are like connected to the letter, so it's hard to see. It was an unlucky tragedy for my people that we decided to build our village here, right in the middle of the Urklings' territory. We have lost so many of our children over the past year. There aren't enough tears in this world to weep for their loss. Okay. We do we when do they pop up? Because I haven't seen them. Okay. Well, hey, I don't care. Thankfully, though, my grandmother taught me well in the ways of my druid ancestors. I may not be able to kill the little beast, but I was able to work out a spell that binds them to this book. I can only hide it and pray that it never falls into the hands of a child. Here we are. If you are reading this, know that I'm truly sorry for the demons that have now been passed on to you. Opening the book will have awakened them, and I'm sure they will be ravenously hungry. Okay. Well, I don't think they're hungry now. Once the book is open, you must read it out loud from beginning to end in order to return them to their magical prison. Be watchful. Oh, okay. Be watchful. They only attack if you don't see them coming. Most importantly, once you finish this book, keep it hidden so that no one ever opens it again. Okay. Oh, that's the end.
WIGS FM 98.7 Game Talk.
Hello, darkness. My name is Nick Gloom.
Okay.
It's just me tonight. As you guys know, we answer game questions and talk tips and tricks.
Ew.
Well, Nate usually does. I don't really play most of those games. Anyway, let's get to the phones. First caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Nick. I'm wondering, how do I beat the final boss in Terminator Destruction?
How would I know that?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm stuck here working for crap money. I still can't afford to buy new Atari games. Would you like me to page Nate?
I don't
Here's
know.
the thing. Like I said, I'm working here. I don't usually come on the radio. So, I don't have as much of a bedside manner as Nate does. But it's totally fine. I bought a new OBasic book, which is the programming language for Atari, since I can't afford to buy my own Atari games, and I'm working on my own homebrew game. The pending title is Evil Midnight, where I'm not sure what you're going to have to do yet, but I think it's going to be a horror game, and it's going to be at nighttime, and it's going to be evil. Basically, you would do something all night, and then you would win. It's kind of like working here. I try to keep my head down all night, but Janet asks me to go on the air, and I'm always getting asked to do stuff. The more stuff I get asked to do, the more I get anxious and panic. It's a vicious cycle.
Is this some kind of life lesson? I just want to play Terminator.
Here's the thing.
Bro, why was he so mean? Like, he's on the show, so obviously he's gonna have to know. There's no point of him being on the show. Okay, well, I'm guessing we're just jumping straight into night 2. Okay. How do you open it? Oh. That was we weren't even done with chapter 1. Little Maggie O'Brien was the first. The children had been playing in Hogan's Forest when they all heard a noise. Sensing no danger. Oh! Bro, I completely forgot this is like a monster game. Okay. Sensing no danger because there were so many of them, 12 children in all decided to investigate the source of the strange noise. As they all searched high and low, they soon realized that Maggie was missing. Frantically, they began searching for their friend. She was a small girl who loved to play hide and seek. Bro, it didn't even detect I said that. Her big brother Colin insisted that she was probably hiding somewhere safe and giggling to herself as she watched everyone search for her. The sun sank low in the sky and the forest grew dark. The children, frustrated and panicked, ran back to the village to alert their parents that little Maggie was nowhere to be found. That's when everyone lit torches and spread out through the woods calling her name. Okay. I'm just glad they're not aggressive. I probably just caused them to be aggressive. The little girl's mother sobbed desperately as we all inspected every corner of those woods in hopes of finding her. Her brother kept searching, tears streaming down his cheeks. "I'm her big brother," he said, rubbing his eyes. "I'm supposed to make sure nothing happens to her. It's not your Oh my goodness. "It's not your fault, Colin," I assured him. "We'll find her soon and she'll be no worse for the wear." Okay. What do we do when that happens? We just stand here? Okay. He nodded, forced a smile, and we all continued looking. The moment I heard him scream, I knew he had found her. Or rather, what was left of her, which wasn't much. We were sure it was Maggie because she had worn her favorite hair bow that day. Her father, I knew I didn't read that right. Her father, her father plucked the pink ribbon from her body and fell to his knees, wailing into the darkness. Poor Colin tried to tell us then. He said that she had been covered in what he described as little green men. Okay, well, we gotta read that again, so. Every time I have to read something and I gotta repeat it, I'm not even about to repeat it. I'm just gonna skip on to the next one. They were fat and green. He stammered with bright glowing eyes. They were biting off bits of skin and flesh. No one believed the lad. We all attributed the horrible ordeal to a hungry with wild animal. Of course, what else could it possibly be? Scooping up what remained of little Maggie, the townfolk set to work preparing for her funeral. We had no idea the horrors that lay ahead. I thought to myself how strange her wounds looked. Okay. What? Oh, I must be having a heart attack. That must be what's going on. I couldn't help but think back to what Colin had said about the little green men. It made me think of the stories my grandmother used to tell me. She said that our druid ancestors spoke of tiny creatures that lived long ago in the swamps and marshes surrounding our lands. The Earthlings, she called them. There were 3 tribes, each being their own breed of evil. One tribe, I recall she said, were green and fat. They would lure children away from safety and feast on their flesh. Sounds pretty weird. We didn't live near any swamps. Surely the boy's mind was playing tricks on him. Besides, the lurkings weren't real. They couldn't be. I read that. They couldn't be. Oh, that was the closest they've gotten. We didn't even get the radio that time. Okay. Maggie O'Brien's funeral was just what anyone would expect. Everyone did their best to comfort the grieving parents. Colin kept to himself. Everyone assumed it was because he blamed himself. After his sister had been laid to rest, I came to him to ask him how he was doing. He looked up at me, eyes red from either crying, lack of sleep, or the combination of the two, and said I really saw them, the little green monsters. My heart ached as I put my arms around the boy. I kept telling myself that seeing his little sister in pieces couldn't have been easy for him. He was just in shock. The stories of the Earthlings were only told to scare children into doing what they were told, that was all. The first thing my grandmother told me about the Earthlings was that there were 3 tribes. The green ones had round bellies and piercing blue eyes. She had... Bro, they keep making noises around my room. She said they could be heard if you walked deep in the swamp at night. Bro, they keep fidgeting with my room. I don't know how, because they're not even in here. Okay. They would laugh and sing as they danced around their tiny campfires, which would appear only as tiny flickering lights through the trees. They were the least lethal of the 3 tribes, but every bit as evil. The red ones were more temperamental and even faster than their green cousins. They didn't sing or dance around campfires, and their celebrations were a bit more gruesome. They preferred to eat children from the inside out. It was even thought by some that they were only red because they were stained by the blood of their victims. Fiery red bristle-like hair sprouted from the top of their heads, and their growling yellow eyes seemed cold and calculating. It was even thought by some that they were only red because they were stained by the blood of their victims. Fiery red bristle-like hair sprouted from the tops of their heads, and their growling yellow eyes seemed cold and calculating. Okay, that's the first time they came through the door. Okay. The pale Earthlings were in another class altogether. They had white skin and wild, untamed blue hair that flowed out in every direction. The most unsettling thing about them was that they had no eyes at all, yet they somehow were the most keen and efficient killers of the 3. Grandmother said that their long, weary hair could somehow sense the presence and location of children. There were some things that all 3 tribes had in common. Earthlings preferred to eat after midnight and would only attack if the child didn't make direct eye contact with them. Okay, so that's what we have to do. Earthlings preferred to eat after midnight and would only attack if the child didn't make direct eye contact with them. I reassured myself that the O'Brien girl being attacked barely after sunset meant that she had to have been the victim of a wild animal attack. A few of the men in the village came together to hunt down the beast that killed the girl. They came back 2 days later carrying the carcass of a large wolf. The whole village breathed a sigh of relief, and a big celebration was held. Okay. The only one besides myself that remained anxious was Colin. Looking at his face that night, what is that face on the right side? I just heard something, and nothing is here, so... Okay. Looking at his face that night, I knew that he believed the creatures that killed Maggie were still out there waiting. He was right. Of course he was right. Ain't no way it was a wolf.
Let's go. We got the radio. We got the radio.
98.7
Game Talk.
Hello, darkness. Welcome to the top of the hour. Again, I'm your host, Nick Gloom, filling in for Nate tonight. That was an interesting hour, I must say. I don't know, Janet. I feel like these kids don't like me.
We don't.
Hey, Janet, do you like me? And she's walking away, folks.
Yep.
Anyway, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Nick. Just calling in, wanted to say that you suck.
I just had a feeling that was coming. I feel like I'm not as approachable as Nate is.
You're not.
Oh yeah, so anyway, I forgot there's a sponsor slot I was supposed to fill last hour.
Alright.
This one goes out to all you greasy, pizza-faced listeners. Are you tired of popping pimples?
Ew, gross.
Do
Bro,
some
what?
zits appear over and over and you have to keep popping them?
Gross.
Kind of like that popular video game, Mole Whacker? From the creators of Simple Pimple comes the revolutionary cream, Pimple Buster.
Ew.
The all-in-one, scientifically formulated pimple-destroying cream. Call 155-PIM-PLES. But hurry before supplies run out. That's 155-PIMPLES. You know, Janet, I think Evil Midnight could use some Mole Whacker inspiration. Something to keep the player on their toes. Or at least that last prank caller could drink some of that Pimple Buster. I don't know what it is.
Okay, we'll stop right there. Alright guys, we'll continue from chapter 3. I hope it saves. I'm pretty sure it does. That's what I at least read from somewhere. This mic being here isn't like, whenever there's like just random movements in my setup, it's not always gonna be a thing. It's just to fit the game. Since I have to read, I might as well have the mic close to me so the game can hear me. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment down any games you want to see me play, and like I always say, I'll make it happen. Peace.